Yay Media Group.
13 has been my lucky number for a while. Like, it's always a sign of good things to come for me.
This is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, breaking down every song, every Easter egg, every era, and every theory. Hosted by the biggest Swifties, Nick Adams, Anna Szabo, Amy Nichols, and Lacey G.
Welcome to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. My name's Nick Adams.
I'm Anna.
Amy. And I'm Lacey G.
And today we are breaking down track number 20 of 31. We still have a long ways to go. Track number 20 is Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus.
Nailed it.
Written by Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner. It is a mouthful of a song title.
Chloe and Friends.
Chloe and
Chloe and
Friends.
Friends.
I like to call it Chloe and Friends. I've seen some people online call it Chloe et Friends, like E.T., like in French for some reason. Chloe et Friends. I'm excited because Sophia is my middle name.
Ah,
So I feel like I finally, it's no thank you, Amy,
right.
but I feel like it's finally somewhere in the Taylor cinematic universe.
You made it.
A name drop. And sure, I spell it with an F, but in this case, I will spell it with a PH.
And maybe a little known fact for our listeners, for a lot of your life, you went by Sophia.
Yes, I
Correct?
actually still do. I go by Sophie to my family and close family friends because my mom's name is Anna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also Anna. So growing up, my family would call me Sophie. And when I was a kid in elementary school, I also went by Sophie. But then when I switched schools, and it was in the 4th grade, I remember it. I switched schools and they were like taking, roll, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And I guess as a teacher, you don't typically say the middle name of the student. So they just said Anna. And I was like, here. And I just didn't want to correct her and say, oh, it's Sophie. So then from then on, I just suddenly went by Anna. And I love the name Anna, I do. But I do wish I would have just gone by Sophie my whole life, by everyone.
So when you're with your brothers and your parents, you're Sophie.
Yes.
Does that get confusing for your husband?
No,
No?
because he knows.
He gets it, I guess.
Yeah, he knows. And he'll, if he's talking to my brother, he'll refer to me as Sophie. Because to them, I'm Sophie. If he says Anna, they think he's talking about my mom,
Right.
Yeah.
And then some of my close friends that I still have from, elementary school, they call me Sophie also. So it does get confusing. But it's like a Hannah Montana thing.
Yeah.
Well, and luckily my dog, her name is Sam, so we have a very similar connection
Yeah.
Do we have
Yeah.
a Chloe or my brother's girlfriend's name is Chloe.
here. Okay.
Okay.
Anyone know a Marcus?
I knew a Marcus in elementary school. I don't currently know a Marcus.
I don't think I do either.
My best friend's husband's friend is Marcus.
Are you making stuff up?
No, he was at the wedding.
Okay, all right.
But he spells it with a K. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
My best friend just had a baby boy, and he was asking for M names.
That's a good one.
I suggested Marcus. He didn't pick it, though. But I have recently typed the name Marcus in a text message.
I
What
think
did
it
they
counts.
Go with?
They went with Micah.
Oh, that's good.
Close
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
to Marcus, I think.
Yeah.
Lacey, do you know a Chloe or a Sam or a Sophia or a Marcus?
I know you. I know a Chloe. I know a Marcus, but it's been a long time, so I didn't want to claim him because I haven't seen him in forever.
Now, when
I
she's
don't know a
picking
Sam.
these names, the one that I can immediately think okay, if you're going to throw a name in that's not a love of your life or something like that, and you're just throwing in your friends' names to be included in a song, she knows Marcus Mumford.
Mm-hmm.
Does she know a Sophia, a Sam, or a Chloe?
She knows Sophie Turner.
Sophie Turner.
Okay.
And maybe Sophia just rolls off the tongue better.
Right.
Chloe or Sam or Sophie or Marcus.
that works too.
Yeah, it does. I can't think of a Chloe or a Sam, though, but I'm sure she knows a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm sure she probably does.
But I would be interested to know, why those
Right.
names. Marcus rhymes with darkness, which is what came right
Yeah.
before the lyrics, so that makes sense.
I have always thought that if I'm ever writing a book or a movie, I'm definitely using my friends' names as character names,
But
you
then
could
do
use your best friend's name as the bad guy, the villain, or something. That's
They'll get
fun.
their feelings hurt.
No, if it's all in good fun.
Yeah. If you tell them, but it was just your name.
I'm gonna kill you later.
But you get killed off, sorry, in chapter 2.
In Mean Girls, Tina Fey had an enemy, and they ended up using that person's name.
Oh, was it Glen Coco?
Yes, thank you. Glen Coco.
Oh.
Glen Coco was someone
do
who they
remember
got
this.
bullied by or something like that. And so they screw you, Glen Coco.
Fall for you, Glen Coco. None for you. None for Gretchen Wieners.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you never know how somebody can come back and get you one day.
So true.
I wonder if we even name dropped in things and we just don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, in Florida, she said Lace.
Oh, right.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. So
And
obviously that
and
was me.
Olivia Rodrigo has a song called Lacey.
Uh-huh.
And then we have Thank You, Amy, so we know Taylor hates Amy. Just kidding.
And in the nick of
I'm
time.
kidding. I'm kidding.
She said nick of time before.
Nick of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing will beat Thank You, Amy, though.
No,
Like,
it's
literally,
great.
she says, fuck you, Amy.
And I just can't wait to get to that because we can
so good.
we can play our moment when we first heard
God,
it.
Nothing will top that.
Yeah, that's 4 songs
Nothing.
from now.
That was great. We were so
Nothing.
jealous of you. And then the song started playing and we were like, oh,
Never mind.
ooh.
We were crying. I had tears in my face
All
from
of us.
laughing so hard. It was
Yeah.
so good.
But you were such a good sport, Amy. You were such
How
a
can
good
you do
sport.
anything but laugh?
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but
so
I'd still
ridiculous.
it'd be a little butthurt though. It just in that moment, like not now, but then it'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, and you were such a good sport about it.
So the song Chloe
Yes.
and Friends.
Chloe and Franz.
Shall we start on these lyrics?
Yes. Well, this is an Aaron Dessner production, correct?
Sure is.
I
Yes.
feel like it's good to highlight that.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, do you have a favorite Aaron Taylor song that you can top of mind?
All of them.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a
Good
good one.
answer.
I
They're
like that one.
ranked evenly.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
So good.
So good.
Does this also have an interesting cadence to it? The last song that we just broke down, The Albatross, I feel like it had a really interesting cadence
Wise
when
men.
it started.
One set.
And then this one is, now I got to think of how it started.
hologram
stumbled into my apartment.
Hand in your hair and
kinda
somebody in darkness named Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of the way A Cowboy Like Me starts. It's like you're starting in halfway through and on the story. Like you miss part of it, and we're just like dropping you right in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not the subject matter, of course.
Right, but the storytelling.
Yeah.
I do feel like, I mean, of course, I know I'm fully aware that the album is called The Tortured Poets Department, but I feel like this is just really poetic. Like I feel like there's some lyrics in this that are just like true, pure poetry as opposed to just like straightforward lyrics. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, because she's kicking off referring to them as a hologram.
Yeah.
You're not even real. Are you this person? Are you just pretending to be this kind of person? Hand in the air of somebody in darkness named Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. And people wondered if she was making a reference to sexuality in that, if it's like trying to say they're bi or calling someone out for who they had been with before. But I think what she's actually jealous of is that this could be any person. It does not matter. It doesn't matter the race, the gender, the anything. Just I'm envisioning you with anybody else but me, and it bothers me because I'm jealous of this relationship that they get to have with you because they're not dealing with the fame.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm witnessing this other relationship happen to you, and I'm jealous of no matter who's there because you have a relaxed relationship with them compared to me because I'm so famous.
Yeah, I agree. It hurts just the same. It does not matter who it is.
Right. Right. And I do think she says your hologram stumbled into my apartment. And I think it's important to note that I feel like similar to the black dog or I look in people's windows, we're in her head, right? She's imagining these things. And I remember when this song first came out, a lot of people were like, oh my God, she caught him cheating. Like straight up, like saw him with his hands in somebody else's hair. And it's like, no, she's imagining this.
Right.
Like the hologram could suggest that she's either imagining this person in her apartment or she is sitting in her apartment and imagining this happening. But regardless, like right out the gate, we are fully in her head, in her like deep anxieties of what is going on that I have no control over, that I actually don't even know about.
Right.
And I just, even though she says, and I just watched it happen, but I think it's not like literally watched it happen, but more so like there's nothing I can do about it.
Sure, and like you're saying, clearly it's not real. It's a hologram's not real. So like she's watching something play out in her mind, and then is she like self-deprecating and she's keeping those bad thoughts going? Like and I just watched it happen.
She's just falling
It's
down
like
a negative
she's
rabbit hole.
she's just like self-loathing. I lost this relationship, and it's like you're torturing yourself by keeping that thought play out in your mind. You see them hooking up with someone else,
and you can't stop thinking about it.
And you can't stop thinking about it.
Right.
And almost sometimes you think about it on purpose because it's just you're in a deep place or a dark place.
And it's self-destructive.
Yes.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Like couldn't do anything about the fact that they moved on, but also couldn't do anything about the fact that she keeps thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
As the decades would play us for fools, and you saw my bones out with someone new. So like I'm not even a person anymore. It's just my bones.
My bones, the skeleton of me, the shell of me is out with somebody new because you dried me out, essentially, right? Gosh.
Yeah, the decades after we've been apart, years later, and you just see my bones out with someone else.
Yeah. Though I did interpret that a little differently of the decade would play us for fools.
Okay.
I took that as the decade that they spent together.
Okay.
The years that they spent together would play us for fools. Like, we kept trying to make this happen and it ultimately wouldn't. But it could also be like the decade that followed. Years later, I'm still thinking about this. I think it could go either way.
And you saw my bones out with somebody new who seemed like he would have bullied you in school, and you just watched it happen.
So now he's watching but not intervening because he doesn't care. Earlier, Taylor Swift was helpless watching it happen. Here, this person is watching this happen but doesn't care to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
Or is
no effort.
Right. Or is it because he's threatened by him but not by her? Like, this person, that the ex in this story, sees her moving on with someone who would have bullied you in school and just watched it happen because he doesn't want to be bullied again by that person. It's not because Taylor moved on and I want to interfere because I want her to be with me. I'm not going to interfere because I'm scared of the guy she's with.
But do you think
again leaving her powerless?
Do you think Taylor is choosing to date someone her ex would hate?
Ooh,
maybe.
Like choosing someone who would bully you. That's who I'm with. Like I'm trying to get back at you, but then you just watch and let it happen, and you don't even fight back. You don't even care to intervene in this.
Yeah, I don't know. That's good.
If you want to break my cold, cold heart, just say, I love you the way that you were.
That hurts.
Yeah, that's a quote. Just say this to me. I loved you the way that you were.
Because there's also interpretations that Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus, that this is all different versions of her.
Yeah.
That she tried changing to make someone else happy.
Oh, okay.
So in the process, I became all these people, all these different versions of myself, and none of it was enough. Now you're going to tell me you liked me so much better the way that I was.
Yeah.
Before I was famous, before I was trying to get you to look at me, before I was this. You liked me all along without all this.
Yeah. So, I like that. I like that take because I always thought about it as, she is always constantly reinventing herself, right? Mm-hmm. But in a good way. You grow as a person. You change as a person. Like, you want to look back and know that you grew up from the person that you were 10 years ago. And if she's proud of that, and he says, but I loved you the way that you were. I loved you when you didn't stand up for yourself. I loved you when you were in secret. I loved you when you were hurt and not, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
like a bad thing.
It's almost like a bad thing. Like, I loved you when you were small and helpless, not when you're strong and powerful.
Yeah.
That's how I took it, but it could go any way.
Yeah.
Which is what makes her songwriting so good.
Yeah.
And if you want to tear my world apart, just say you've always wondered. Like, wondered about her, wondered what she's doing now, that I've been on your mind.
Yeah, or wondered what could have been if we stayed together.
Mm-hmm.
Just always wondered.
Yeah, the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just almost like the fact that this person is thinking of Taylor would, like she says, tear her world apart. It would break her cold, cold heart.
Yeah.
That you're even thinking of me.
And
it would shatter me.
It also is kind of just already self-deprecating, like you were saying earlier, that she's claiming that she has a cold heart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to break my cold heart. Even though it's crazy because I feel like Taylor Swift is the opposite of somebody that would have a cold heart.
I know.
You know, she wears her heart on her sleeve, and she's so loving and warm, and she keeps her people close. And so for her to say herself that she has a cold heart, like if you want to break my cold heart, or I guess maybe she feels like it's cold now because she gave all that she did, that she gave all that she could, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it hurts.
Well, what also hurts is what she says next. You said some things that I can't unabsorb. Like you said things you can't apologize for. I heard them.
I'll never
You
forget
said
them.
it. You did things. I'll never forget it. It's like I've always heard this saying, you know, about how to, when you're arguing with someone you love, there's a way to fight properly. Like
Right.
you can't take some things back that you say.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just apologize later and, oh, I'm sorry, I was angry. I didn't mean what I said. No, you said it and you meant it.
Yeah.
I can't forget that. I can't unabsorb what you said or you did.
Like, do
Yeah.
you have zero self-control?
Right.
You can't just keep that in your mouth?
Yeah, you say things that truly can just crush somebody. You can't take
It's-
that back.
It's such a poetic way to say that.
Mhm.
For her to say, you said some things I can't unabsorb. The word unabsorb, instead of saying you said some things I can't forget, girl,
Find me another song that uses the lyric unabsorbed.
I need a Taylor Swift thesaurus.
You turned me into an idea of sorts.
Oh, that also hurts. Because I feel like that just kind of also echoes the sentiments in You're Losing Me. Like, or, you know, or in All Too Well, like the idea of me, who was she?
Mhm.
You know, like you turned me into an idea of sorts. Like you didn't like me for me. You liked
Yeah.
the idea of me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you turned me into something that I'm not. And once I realized that and became my own person, you said that you loved me before.
Yeah.
You needed me, but you needed drugs more. And I couldn't watch it happen.
Yeah, eventually she just chose to walk away.
I changed into goddesses, villains, and fools. So
Ooh.
again, Lacey, like you're saying, she's reinventing herself. She's changing.
All her eras.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Changes her plans, lovers,
Right.
outfits, and rules, all to outrun my desertion of you.
I also love that because I feel like it could also maybe be a reference to her songwriting in the Tortured Poets department. Like, I feel like in the Tortured Poets department, we see so many different angles of the way that she's like feeling from, you know, how we were saying like the 5 stages of grief, from angry to sad to all these things. And within the album in itself, she changed her character to be the goddess character, feeling like she's unbreakable. You know, she's this higher power. I can do it with a broken heart, right? But then she also changed herself into the villain character, villainizing her own choices and Guilty as Sin, Fresh Out the Slammer, like things like that.
Yeah.
But she also changed into the fool of it all. Like, oh, but I can't believe that I let this all happen. Kind of like the prophecy. Like, am I ever going to find somebody? Like, I did all of that. I wrote all of this. I wrote this entire body of work all to outrun my real feelings of you. Right?
Dang. Yeah. That
She's
makes
crazy.
sense.
She's so good.
Yeah, and she kept changing herself, all to outrun my desertion of you, and you just watched it. That's the next line, and you just watched it.
Yeah, and
It's
I also
like you didn't care.
I also do feel like I changed into goddesses. This is my favorite part of the whole song. I changed into goddesses, villains, and fools, like kind of like what I just said, that referring to her songwriting and her like lyricism and her emotions. But then to follow that up with change plans and lovers and outfits and rules, she also changed her exteriors, right? Like not
Yeah.
just like her interior feelings and her lyrics and her songwriting, but also who she's with, what she's doing, where she's going, completely changing every aspect of my surroundings, all to out
Get away
to run
from you.
away. Yeah, to run away from my real feelings about how I'm doing.
And you just watched it happen.
You just watch that
You
happen.
just watched it.
And let's not forget Mirror Ball, where she said, I can change everything about me to fit in.
If you want to break my cold, cold heart, just say that I loved you the way that you were. If you want to tear my world apart, just say you've always wondered. If the glint in my eye trace the depths of your sigh,
So, Sai, this is the first sign of disapproval.
down that passage in time,
Back to the moment.
back to the moment I crashed into you like so many wrecks do, too impaired by my youth to know what to do. I was young and dumb. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I feel like in that whole bridge, she's basically saying that she wishes she could retrace every single step to know what went wrong. Right? Like if the glint in my eye, like if I could just go back to everything that we did this passage in time, to the moment that I met you, the moment that I crashed into you, the moment this all started, to know what to do. Like I wish I could just go back and pinpoint what I did wrong to get myself to where I am now.
If I could just see why you're sighing, if I could just see why you're unhappy with me.
Like what did I do?
Yeah, if I could just see the depths of your sigh. Ugh. Okay, wait, why did he do that?
Yeah.
Why did he sigh? What did I do?
What did I do? This is my fault.
Okay, and then you're going to go back and step of time and be like, what did I do? What did I do?
I almost feel like there's still an immaturity here in the song because, like, they're both just watching things happen. Like, there's no action being made. Isn't that immaturity? They're just both, like, not doing anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I don't know that you can really blame the youth.
Right. So if I sell my apartment and you have some kids with an internet starlet, so we're all moving on. Everyone's going our separate ways. Will that make your memory fade from this scarlet maroon?
Maroon.
Scarlet and maroon, also
Yeah.
2 different shades of red.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I like that she says if. So like
So
if I sell my apartment and you have some kids, like if we both move on, can I forget this? Like will this memory fade? But is that only going to happen if we move on? Or do we have to try to make things work? I'm going to get you back. You know, like
Yeah.
if I sell my apartment, if I get out of this, if I get out of this mindset, if I get out of all the things that remind me of you, where I'm sitting, where I see your hologram, where I'm thinking about you, if I just move on and if you just move on, are we actually moved on?
Right.
And Taylor uses colors a lot to convey meanings and emotions. So she's saying, will this make your memory fade? Will that make your memory fade from this scarlet maroon like it never happened? So what is she saying here when she's using these colors? What is she referring to? Like, is she referring to something, this relationship being
A blood
vibrant?
stain.
A blood stain?
That's how
Is it-
I took it. Like it's super fresh,
Mhm.
and you know when you see the blood scenes in Hollywood or whatever, or I mean in real life.
Yeah.
I don't see those typically though. Just the dark, almost black blood red, and then as far the more time, the farther away it gets from the body, it like gets that red color. So
Oh.
it's like more time gives you that brightness instead of the dark blood stain that's closer to the body. That's where my mind went.
I mean, going on what you're saying, so we have this traumatic, awful, terrible moment, this relationship, but will that just fade? Like it never happened? Like we're going to
Yeah.
forget those feelings, good or bad?
Like you're
We're
not
just
going to
gonna
have the scars for forever.
Right. We're just going to forget
Right.
this ever happened. I'm going to fade from your memory.
And I also think about how in the song Maroon, she also uses it to refer to being abandoned. So will this memory, if we move on, and if I'm able to forget you from this blood stabbing moment, eventually will it stop making me feel so alone, like you abandoned me? I don't know.
Could it be enough to just float in your orbit? Can we watch our phantoms like watching wild horses?
That's poetry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That is tortured poetry.
Could it be enough to just float in your orbit? To just live in the same world
Mhm.
as you?
Is it referencing like them being in the same circles?
Maybe.
Or if you're floating in your orbit, is that just like somehow another way to say like a memory? We watch our phantoms like we are wild horses? I don't know.
I wonder if it's like, could it be like, okay, if it is referring to being in the same circles, you know, there are some people that can be friends with their exes.
Yeah.
There are some relationships that work that way. Could it be enough? Like, could we do that? Could we still be in the same circle of people? And you know how some people, when they are friends with their exes, and they joke about it, but oh yeah, I remember when we dated, like whatever, and then you move on. Like, could we ever possibly do that?
Can we get to that point?
Could we get to that point? cooler in theory, but not if you force it. Like it is,
Yeah.
it's great for the people that are able to do that, but you can't force that type of relationship where you're both okay with being exes and staying friends.
Yeah, it'd have to
Yeah.
be natural.
I personally, I've never been able to stay friends with an ex. Like once we're done, we're done. But I know other people are different. And again, every relationship is different. Every person is different. But
And to say float in your orbit makes me think of like magnetism. So it's not just witnessing somebody doing something. It's being around or pulled in
Yeah.
by somebody. So I don't know like in what context that is. If it's going to be an award show and this person standing up being the center of attention and everything. Like I don't know.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hear you. Like there's no grounding. Yeah, there's a pull.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to break my cold, cold heart, say you love me.
Oh man, it's so Taylor Swift to do this again.
She's changing up her choruses here.
Yeah, she's taking the same lyric, but this time she just doesn't finish the sentence.
Just
Like,
say you loved me.
Just say you loved me. It's not say you loved me the way that you were. It's just say you loved me. If you want to break me, just say that you loved me.
That I was enough.
And if you want to tear my world apart, say you'll always wonder. 'Cause I wonder. Will I always wonder? That's with a question mark at the end.
Yeah.
Will I?
Yeah. Will I rid the ghost?
Mm-hmm.
This hurts so much. This is a very sad song.
Mm-hmm.
Very tortured.
Very poetic.
Very poetic. Very
Someone
deep.
on Reddit said they feel like the name of this song is intentional. CSSM. Can someone save me?
Whoa.
Is what they came up with. I will always wonder if someone can save me from my own self-destructive ways and insecurities.
Whoa.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
I wonder if that stands for anything else. No.
Well, what a haunting song. Love it.
Yeah.
Very
totally.
haunting indeed. Indeed.
And we're actually going to hear from Sophia here in just a minute. Is it the Sophia that she's talking about in this song? I don't know. I don't have a direct line to Taylor Swift, even though I like to think that I am. But before we get to our voicemail, I want to encourage our listeners to join us over in the Lobster Lounge. You can see us there, station.page/13. It's free to sign up. All it is an exclusive lounge for our listeners where we get to chit-chat, share theories, talk Taylor Swift. We're going to be having some cool giveaways coming up here soon. So just join us over at the Lobster Lounge. Let us know whenever you get there. You can post your thoughts, and we'd love to say hey. So join us over at the Lobster Lounge, station.page/13. But Sophia did call our voicemail. Sophia called and left us this voicemail and said that they remember this moment all too well.
Hey, it's Sophia from Illinois. I hope this is 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast, and if it's not, please delete. I was just watching TikTok how Taylor Swift announced Tortured Poets, and I just thought it was really weird. I just came home from like a really busy day, and I was exhausted, but for some reason my Swiftie senses went off, and I had to turn on the TV to the Grammys. And I am not even joking. It was a commercial break, and then Taylor went up to accept her award, and she announced Tortured Poets Department. And I actually lost my mind. I'm sorry, I have no clue why I decided to share this now, not like a few months ago, but like, I don't know, I thought that was crazy. Anyway, bye, I love you guys' podcast. Keep making them forever. Thank you, bye.
Thank you so much, Sophia.
I
Thanks,
believe in
Sophia.
Swiftie.
Yeah.
senses.
Oh, me too. 13,000%. I
Yeah.
believe in a Swiftie sense.
Yeah, it's happened.
It has happened.
Biggest Swiftie sense flex, Swiftie senses. Yeah.
yeah.
Let me hear y'all's because I have one.
Oh, go ahead. I need to
well,
think about it.
I'm not good with
Well,
calling.
Mine.
I can smell pretty good. If we're talking senses.
Swiftie senses.
Talking
Oh.
Swiftie senses.
And there's
Excuse
it's
me.
a 13th
I mean,
sense.
there's 5 senses, Nick. It's not just smell.
If we were to start another podcast, we should call it the 13th sense.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
Okay, so my Swiftie senses, I was at my neighbor's house in the pool, and all of a sudden I thought, it's probably surprise song at clock time. And I got out of the pool by myself, picked up my phone, went to watch the Eras Tour live stream. And this was whenever she did Death by a Thousand Cuts and Hits Different, the Mega Bridge at the same time.
Yeah.
And nothing was going on. I'm outside by myself. And I was like, I think it's that time. And pulled it up and got to witness that live stream. And it was great. So that's my biggest Swiftie senses flex.
Yeah. I don't know. I have felt my Swiftie senses tingling before. I can't think like top of mind a specific time.
Yeah,
But
you've mentioned it. I can't remember.
yeah.
I know you've gotten stuff on like Record Store Day or something where you'd wake up from a nap and they'd have autographed Taylor Swift something.
there was certain times where I'd be like sleeping, like taking a nap, and I would wake up like with my Swiftie senses, and Taylor would have just posted something that was like on the merch site or something. Yeah, that has happened a handful of times. Because I feel like even before the Eras tour, we were like, because our podcast started before the Eras tour, and I feel like we'd been talking about Swiftie senses tingling and stuff like before that. But yeah, I truly believe in Swiftie senses, and I believe in Tay Voodoo. I think Tay Voodoo is 100% a thing, and it's real, and anyone who wrongs our girl's name, eventually they all fall. So I believe in Tay Voodoo.
Karma is real.
I want Tay blessings.
Yes,
if
Tay
you're
blessings.
if you're gonna do people wrong who's done you wrong, we've always had your back. So
Tay blessings are also great.
But thank you so much, Sophia,
Yeah.
for
Thank you, Sophia.
That's cool.
sharing that memory with us.
You'll have to
Thank
call
you,
us back
thank
and let us
you.
know how you reacted to your name being in a song.
Ooh, yeah, great question.
Yeah.
All right, well, that does it for this episode of 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, subscribe to us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on right now. All the ways to contact us, our email, our website, our phone number are all in the description of this podcast. And join us next time as we are on a streak of Aaron Dessner songs. Next time, we're going to break down How Did It End?
Yay! So good. Also follow us on social media at the 13 Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the things. We are all there. So be sure to hang out with us there.
Thanks for listening to 13, a Taylor Swift fan podcast. Subscribe for free and leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts.